Guys, welcome back to the Bluff Bottom Bloomin' channel on YouTube, where we discuss all things gardening and growing, especially roses. So today I'm here in my small 12 by 40 high tunnel, and I just thought it would provide such a beautiful backdrop. All of my larkspur is blooming in the tunnel. It was kind of an experiment this year, but all that color, so pretty. So today I'm going to share with you some footage of my rose garden and all of the rose plants that we have on the farm from about late May into early June. I took all of these clips, and I also wanted to discuss some of the different rose varieties we have on the farm and what we've added that's new and what's been here for a couple years and why I like them. So let's get started. So first off, we have several different varieties here on the farm, or I guess I wouldn't say varieties, but because we do have different varieties, but just different classes of roses. So to begin, I established a cutting patch this year that I'm going to plan to harvest the roses from as cut flowers. And that is over on a separate property just across the road. We planted 50 roses, and they're all primarily hybrid tea roses, and I'll explain more what those are in a minute. But so we have our 50 cutting roses. They're just getting established this year, so they're just now blooming. Right now at this time that I'm recording this, it's late June, and they're just now blooming. They're still really small. Definitely not harvestable blooms. So that's our first kind of major section of roses, right? That's not my first planting of roses. So I have several other roses here on the farm, and I'm just going to show you the differences in them. So first of all, I have some Rugosa roses. They're fairly new plantings, so this is really they're just starting to really get bigger this year. And the difference between Rugosa roses and a lot of other roses is that they're very known for their hip production. They're actually native to the salty sea coast, kind of around Japan. So they really thrive in that kind of moist but well-draining, salty environment. They're single petaled, so they only have one layer of petals. And the reason why they produce hips so well is because it's so much easier for the pollinators to get inside, to get to basically the pollen and fertilize the plant. And that's why you have such good rose hip set, because the rose hip is basically the fruit of the rose, and within that fruit there are several seeds. So they're really excellent for hip production, and that is why I chose to add some to my farm, more for my own uses. But hips can also be used in cut flower arrangements as well. Most of the time the Rugosa roses are very hardy, and that's why they've been used during hybridization in order to produce these much healthier hybrids, I guess you could say. So one that we sold this year was called Tris Brunet, and it definitely has the very textured foliage that a Rugosa rose has. It's supposed to be super vigorous, so I still got one left. We'll see how she does. So another type of rose that I have planted, and they're mainly along my back fence, is I would call them Kordes roses. That's not necessarily a class in themselves, but they're from the Kordes. They're bred from the Kordes family, and they're famous or known in Germany. So their roses are really known for being exceptionally disease resistant and just beautiful as well. So I've really enjoyed them. I have a few different varieties. I really love Parfuma Bliss, and anything from the Parfuma series is great. But Parfuma Bliss has been awesome. Parfuma Earth Angel. I have one called Crazy Love that's just doing so well this year compared to last couple years. And I'm really excited to see how they do in the future. But they're definitely my more mature planting that I have here on the farm. Another set of roses that I have that are particularly from a certain breeder are David Austin roses, and those are mainly in my landscaping in the front. They are doing so awesome this year as well. And if you don't know David Austin roses, you must look them up. They are very beautiful, and they are basically considered the typical English style rose. So David Austin, most of these roses have been developed fairly recently. I think most of the hybrids started being developed around the 70s and 80s. So, but they're still continuing to produce those hybrids today. But he was breeding, David Austin was breeding for that old garden rose style shape to the bloom. So that very cupped shape, very full, many layers of petals. And he also was trying to incorporate this disease resistance into his line. So a lot of times his roses are very disease resistant. They have a beautiful form, and a lot of them have really exceptional fragrance. So I definitely wanted to add some of those to my landscaping. And I particularly have been in love with Tea Clipper. And then the other one is it's Crown Princess Margareta. That's what I was thinking of. So that one is a climbing rose. Very beautiful as well. Some other things that I've added on the farm are damask roses. So those are, I don't really have much to show you on those because I just planted them this spring and they're still very small. And those roses are typically once blooming roses. So that means that they bloom one time in the year in the spring and then they're done for the season. Why would I plant those? Well, they are very known for their fragrance. So if you've ever heard of rose water or any sort of rose oil, not rose hip seed oil, but rose absolute oil, that comes from the petals of the damask roses. They are very known for their fragrance. They are harvested over in Bulgaria and different regions early in the morning for peak freshness, and then they are distilled, and that the result of that distillation process is a thin layer of oil on the top and some of that water, and so it's sold as damask rose water, and that is a big deal. So I wanted to grow some for myself just to experiment with that. I also am just interested in studying the plants as well, so that's kind of why. And they do, so another section of the roses on our farm are heirloom roses or heritage roses, or basically older roses that are out of plant patent. So when we talk about heirloom or heritage roses, we're typically talking about very old garden roses from, bred in the 1800s, maybe even before that. So I do have several varieties of those. Again, they're all really new. I'm just trying to get them established right now. I have them all potted up or planted in the ground. And I have gotten some blooms on some of them, so I've been taking pictures and it's been really fun. But some of these roses aren't necessarily super old that I have. They're maybe bred in the 80s, 70s, but I've really been trying to amass a collection of roses that do really well in our climate, in my climate specifically. So I've been scouring blogs, I've been scouring helpmefind.com, which is a great resource if you're wanting to learn more about different rose varieties. A good example of a rose that is not particularly old, but is old enough, I guess you could say, this Sally Holmes rose. I think it was bred in the 70s, I'll have to double check that. But it is a climbing rose. You can see that it's got more of the wild rose look with the single petal structure. And I just got this one in the mail from a nursery. I'm really excited because I have really enjoyed seeing different gardeners on YouTube and whatever, seeing it in their garden. So my plan is to put it up along my front fence, and hopefully it will I'll train it along the fence and we'll have some really beautiful blooms on it. And they smell really good. So that's kind of my goal here with all of these roses, is I'm trying to find roses that grow really well here in my region. I am in Zone 6 in the Midwest near the St. Louis region. We hardly have a spring anymore, so it can get really hot in the spring. We're really humid sometimes, so we're really prone to those disease issues. So I'm trying to find roses that grow really well here, are vigorous, they have good disease resistance, and also beautiful, smell good, have a lot of different awesome attributes. Why? Because I'd like to offer those to people around us. So trying to amass a collection that I can take cuttings from, or just talk about so that you guys know more, because that's been my biggest thing, is finding information sometimes for my growing zone is really difficult. There's a lot of rose production that goes on in California. Well, we are in a totally different world here. So I'm really trying hard to show you guys what's going on here in the Midwest and hopefully revive rose growing in the Midwest, because they're actually not that bad. They've been pretty easy keepers so far. So thanks for watching this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about different types of roses, please drop them down in the comments below. And definitely make sure that you go to our website, sieversblumenfarm.com, and snag your free cut flower ebook, The Summer Bouquet, 6 Simple Ingredients to Growing Your Very Own Backyard Bouquet. I hope that it helps you get growing, get excited about flowers, and don't have a book on roses yet, but hopefully I will soon. So thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by, and subscribe if you like this video. See you guys.